Italian.
Hello, welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the December 6th, 2016 episode of AstroEnergy Astrology. I am Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk to you, and if you would like a reading, please call in 347-994-3365, and I'm excited. It's just a lovely day here in Orlando. It's so warm. I think it's like 82. I shouldn't even say that. I mean, I really am kind of tired of the heat, but, you know, it's winter and it's 80, so I guess you can't be too unhappy with that, right? But, yeah, maybe snow will be in my future in the next couple of years. We'll have to see. So hopefully, I think that the Midwest and the New England area are both in line to get some not very nice weather today. So, yeah, Jupiter's run. Okay, I've got to get my tongue in order. Jupiter is coming into opposition with Uranus. It's 17 degrees Libra, and Uranus is at 20 degrees Aries. So they are both starting to battle it out. And Jupiter is in an air sign, and Uranus is an air energy when it's in its natural sign of Aquarius. But he is in Aries right now, so he's actually getting frustrated. He's trying to go, he wants to go forward and he wants to get things accomplished. He wants to have his ideas come out and inventions and talk and move forward with the entrepreneurial energy, but he is in opposition to Jupiter, and Jupiter wants him to look at partnerships and relationships and what's going on there. And he just wants his freedom. He just wants to move forward. So wherever these energies are in our charts, that's what we're feeling. We want to move forward. We want to get things going. And today it's not, it's kind of frustrating, you know. And then we also have Mars in Aquarius. So Mars in Aquarius is going to bring inclement weather. It's going to bring wind and storms and, you know, thunder and lightning, everything that Uranus. I've been dictating a lot of stuff, and I can't dictate the way I say the word these days. I have to say it the old way, which is not my preference, and so that's why my mind automatically goes back to Uranus, and it's not the word I'm going to pronounce. So, but that's the way my dictation program recognizes it. So anyway, Pluto's in square. He's at 16, so he is also in square to Jupiter. So Pluto square Jupiter, Pluto square Uranus, Uranus opposed Jupiter. So we've got this T-square going on in the energies there with Pluto and Earth, Uranus and fire, and Jupiter and air. So Earth, fire, and air. It means fires. It means breezes and blowing of the fires. So, and Earth is going to be stable and steady and long burning. So probably, I haven't looked to see what's going on with the fires in the southeast here where I'm at, but you know, long term is probably what's going on with those, at least till Jupiter gets past Uranus. And they directly oppose on December 26th. So you're going to see, I mean, I was looking at it today, and I was just amazed. I wrote all the dates down because there's so many planetary shifts going on. And we've got December 19th through the 20th is again, well, actually even beyond that, to the 26th. The whole week of the 19th through the 26th is going to be intense. So we've got Mars going into Pisces on the 19th. We have Uranus going direct on the 20th. The opposition exact is going to be at 3 p.m. on the 26th of December. And Sun goes into Capricorn on the 21st. So when Uranus goes direct, he's like within a degree of opposition to Jupiter. It's like I was trying to, you know, bounce that. I don't have the application that automatically finds that date, that time for me. And like I said, my ephemeris is still missing in action until the beginning of the year. I've got a new one. I'm very excited about that. But, and I use the online computer ephemeris, which is really great, actually. If you're interested in finding one, you just type in on Google the year and then the word ephemeris, and up pops the Astro Dienst link to it, and it just lays it out like a page of the ephemeris, so it's really awesome. But so as Jupiter is opposing Uranus, it's just going to be ramped up and ramping up. I mean, now it's only 3 degrees off of a direct opposition. So right now what we're finding is we're having this energy of conflict between dealing with someone who wants their needs met in a partnership, in a relationship situation, and I also have that situation in my life, and then wanting to move forward with an entrepreneurial endeavor or a scientific endeavor, something related to data, technology, anything along electronics, the sciences, the internet, computers, things like that. And it's very frustrating. It's like, can we move forward? Let's go. Why aren't we doing it? And, the energies are not supporting it right now. So on the 20th, when Uranus goes direct, it's going to be like this huge bang out of the gate, get it done, now we're off to the races. And so we're going to really see a huge rubber band effect where we're pulling back, release. And it'll be a relief, but it'll also be like, okay, just as an example, I listen on podcast and on YouTube to this lady who channels, or she has people on channeling her son who has passed away. And the opening of that podcast has this building music and this like little nebula that's getting bigger, and the music builds and then it explodes, and there's like light all over the screen, and it's loud and it goes bang. It's like the Big Bang. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to have this release of energy, and it's electrical energy. So I hate to tell you, but definitely computers are susceptible, and I am even considering unplugging my computer for the day just to kind of avoid any surges or things that come about in that vein. But I find it really interesting because the whole electoral college situation meets the day before. So there is that energy going on. And, the day before, planets are at late degrees. Venus is just about to go into Capricorn. And I don't even think I put that down. So let's see when Venus goes into Capricorn here. Venus goes in she won't go in until January. That can't be right. December 6, 2016. How's that possible? Oh, Aquarius. That's right. I'm sorry. I apologize. She's in Capricorn. She's going to Aquarius, having a mind blip. So Aquarius on the 8th. So 2 days from now, she goes into Aquarius, which is also going to trigger a lot of the electrical energy. The thing that kind of hit me is that when Venus goes into Aquarius on the 8th, she's going to trigger like an expansion and a good move on the stock market around tech stocks. So if you're interested in making some money, that's what I would do. I'm not in the stock market, and I don't do any of that, but I do recognize things when the stock market, when Venus, which rules money and financial markets, goes into different signs, definitely she has an effect. So when she went into Capricorn, she was affecting us by pulling back. It was more about tangible goods, retail or government bonds, things like that. And then she goes into Aquarius, and it's going to be about tech stocks. And then she's also going to meet up with Mars when she's there. And that'll happen. Actually, she won't even meet up with Mars until Pisces, probably even until January. Because Mars is actually going really fast to the end degree. So he's between 16 and 0 Pisces for the first 2 weeks of December. She just gets to Aquarius, so she's only going to be at 14 degrees when Mars goes into Pisces. So she won't actually meet up with Mars in Aquarius, but she will start to be in the same sign and culminate some of the same energy. So it's electrical energy. And Mars in Aquarius is saying, okay, let's go. I mean, that's where a lot of this energy with Uranus retrograde in Aries, right now they're in mutual reception. So Uranus rules Aquarius, but Mars is in Aquarius, and Mars rules Aries, but Uranus is in Aries. So they're in each other's signs, and they're in positive aspect. They're both at 20 degrees today in sextile. So they're working really strong. They want to move forward. And I feel this. I have a tech project I'm working on, and I feel it with the partners in that, like, want to go. And it's like we're right there. We want to move forward. And it's frustrating because everybody needs to be on board and doing the same thing, and we're not able to do that just yet. But It's happening. It's going to happen. The 20th, everything is going to move forward. You're going to feel that powerful push. You'll probably feel it a few days before and a few days after. And then, yeah, we're going to have a lot of energy, and we're off to the races. So we've got Sun-Saturn conjunction with 4 degrees in between, one at 14, Sun's at 14, and Saturn's at 18. So the Sun rules identity, ego, and attention to self and being in the spotlight. And Saturn rules structure, government, restriction, the form, the system, how things are made, and where they're tangible. So Sun and ego wants to create something. That's actually also inclining us, because they're both in fire signs, and they're in sextile also to Mars. So we've got this, intense energy, Jupiter sextile Sun, Saturn. Sun, Saturn is sextile Mars. Mars is sextile Uranus, and Uranus opposes Jupiter. So we have this formation of like a half hexagon in the sky, and it's really culminating a lot of energy that's starting to build behind the scenes, and it's going to explode there around the 20th. And on the 26th, when there's a direct opposition to Uranus. So, and then of course we have that T-square with Pluto, which rules government and politics. So it'll be really interesting to see what comes about with the electoral college, because there's a lot of power going on behind the scenes, and it's culminating, and it's going to explode there during that week. Today's moon is in Pisces, so we have a lot of feeling like I just want to chill, I want to relax, I want to be in a cocoon, kind of out of the way, and cozy and enjoying myself. Let's see, Venus is at 28 Capricorn. I mentioned that, so she's wrapping up the old systems. She's wanting to have everything very structured and organized properly. So if you're wanting to get rid of extra furniture, I know I've been feeling that. Aquarius is really good energy, Mars and Aquarius, for cleaning and having things really clear and crisp. And Capricorn wants to organize. So the two together can actually get a lot done when it comes to moving forward and cleaning house. So Venus wrapping up that energy, and as she gets into Aquarius here in a couple days, then she will be off wanting things to move forward. It's all very new energy. Right now she's in the old energy. She's feeling the structure and the tangibility, things that don't decay very rapidly. They're very slow moving. The earth energies are the stable energies of the zodiac. The air energies are less stable. They are very mutable and quirky and eccentric, and they move, and they're multiples, so it's always on the go, finding new information and seeing what's what. Curious. They're very curious. Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius are always looking for something new and tend to have an attraction to multiple things, not just one thing. They're always wanting to do more. So Libra is balanced between two different ideas, two different romances. It can triangulate with love. That means having two people plus a middle. So look for that. If you're in a relationship right now, there could be like this triangulation of energy. Then Uranus in Aries, that's the other part of one of the energies, looking for multiple business ventures and ways of expressing and ways of creating attention. And then Mars in Aquarius is taking action around multiples of ideas and marketing. So we've got that. Let's see, Pluto in Capricorn, again, he is kind of the apex of this T-square going on with Jupiter and Uranus. So there is the stability energy, and 16 degrees means he's very stable, and he's dug his heels in. He wants things to be the way they are. He doesn't want to shift. He doesn't want to change. He's going direct. He is ready to put up a fight and stand his ground. And then Uranus in Aries, again, very influenced to move forward and wants to change, does not want to stay still, does not want to be stagnant. Jupiter, freedom in Libra, wants to move forward with a sense of self and being free. So that's kind of a difficult energy. Jupiter is not a committer energy generally. It's much more about doing your own thing and, free will and moving on and what's the next adventure, where's the next place to go. In Libra, it just wants to partner up. It wants to have balance. It wants to have the other. And so Jupiter is bringing to Libra the idea that we have to have our individual needs met, and we can't be restricted within the coupling, within that partnership. We have to be free to come and go. So that may be an issue around your relationship right now. And are you free? Do you have the freedom to do what you want within that situation? And I can tell you right now, you don't, because you're at odds with authority, with the elder, and you're at odds with the new and the change. So you're kind of battling it out with Pluto and Uranus in your chart. Saturn, though, which does rule Pluto in Capricorn now because he's in Saturn's sign, is in Jupiter's sign, and they're in positive aspect to each other. So while tradition does not support what we're doing in relationship necessarily, Saturn in Sagittarius does, because Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and Saturn is answering to Jupiter right now. So ergo, Pluto is answering to Jupiter in some regard. So we're finding that there is a very strong need to connect to people of other cultures and understand people of other cultures, and in a positive way, in partnering. So yeah, I mean, it's so interesting looking at this because I know I have this other business deal and there's a foreigner involved in that business deal as well. So there's all these planets are actual people and situations coming to fruition in my chart right now very clearly. Mars and Aquarius, we're putting energy into the technology. I'm out there looking for a new computer. I'm considering renovating my old computer, but probably want to buy a new one. I'm looking to get a new camera. Lots of technology stuff. Mars, buying, selling, retail, marketing, all of that is Mars. So anyway, I do want to say, too, before I get on to my Saturn mythology, that if you want to have a reading, I need to know you want a reading, and to do that, you have to hit 1 on the keypad. So I've got a couple people online, but I don't see their hand up. And that means if you're not putting your hand up for a reading, then I'm probably going to end the show after Saturn mythology, because I guess I could talk a little bit about what's going on with the chart for the 20th, but I kind of want to save that for that show. So probably end early on the show if nobody calls in or raises their hand for a reading. But anyway, let's see here. So Saturn is the energy, obviously the ruling energy of Saturn, and the planet Saturn, and also the sign of Capricorn, which it rules. And hold on one second. Sorry about that. So he was an ancient Roman god, and he is a very complex figure with a long history. And he was the first god of the capital of Rome, which means there weren't any other gods at the time. And so a long time, I actually don't have how long ago that was, but obviously over 1,000 years ago, he would have been the ruler. Let me just see if I can find that. Nope, there's 16th century engraving. Now, they don't really have any information per se on him as far as timeline. But he was known as Saturnius Mons in ancient Rome. He ruled generation, dissolution, plenty, the idea of plenty, wealth, agriculture, periodic renewal, and liberation. And he was later the god of time, and that kind of lends his name to the idea of the Greek god name, which is Cronos, C-R-O-N-U-S, which means time. And the myth was later adapted for Latin literature and Roman art. Let me make sure I got all the information. Yeah, okay. So his reign was seen as the golden age of plenty and peace, which I find really interesting because I guess as an astrologer, the energy of Saturn is restrictive and authoritarian, which can be more like demagogues or dictators, things like that in politics, which to me don't lend to peace. But I find that really interesting that he traditionally was seen as a god of plenty and peace. He had a temple in ancient Rome, and the temple of Saturn was housed the treasury. And so there is a money or monetary link to Saturn. He had a festival in December called Saturnalia, which was traditionally from the 17th to the 23rd, and I'm guessing may still be celebrated in Rome, although, of course, over time it's kind of been overtaken by Christmas. But it was it was feasting, the energy around it was feasting and role reversals. There was a figure of Saturn that was kept year-round, had full, wool binding his legs, and it was removed at Saturnalia, and it represented agriculture. The festival was around free speech and gift-giving and revelry. So a lot of the similar energy to Christmas that we have in our times. Excuse me, I'm getting a little congestion with the weather going like it is. I apologize. So Saturn is has his own day, and his day is Saturday. So we tend to just brush off a lot of clues in our day-to-day lives of symbology, but Saturn's day. So the Greek name, like I said, was Kronos. His wife was Ops in the Roman tradition, but his Greek wife was Rhea, and she represented wealth, abundance, and resources. Under his rule, the people of Earth had bounty without labor, and his face has been on many ancient Roman coins. So he had a number of epithets, which again is names, and one is Varro, another is Satyr, S-A-T-R-E, and then I can get this, Sterculius. And so Stercus was also another name for manure. So again, the agricultural connection to Saturn is prevalent, and Capricorn is an identifier, again, because being an earth sign, Capricorn is also of the earth and bounty. There was a myth associated with Saturn, and that is one of eating his children. And so that is actually an idea of passing generation to generation. So in other words, it's a depiction that represents the idea of generations passing and moving along. So he is depicted with a staff, and pretty much a lot of reason, abundance, bounty on his depiction in statues. And so, he is represented in the idea of an older man. And, he's got a beard and, like the wise one, the wise energy. So that's Saturn. It's really a short show today if nobody raises their hand. I do have people in the queue, so if you would like a reading from me, I would love to give you a reading, but if you don't raise your hand, I have no one to give a reading to, so I won't be able to stay on. Yay, we have a caller, 818. Hi, 818, how are you?
Hi, doll. I am so fine. Shelley, you have the best programs.
You're so sweet. Thank you for saying so.
It's so true. I speak from the heart. I'm Diane from California. Hi, darling.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Oh, good. I'm so happy. Everything you're saying, what's going on with all these aspects, I so identify. I really thank you for making me feel better, because I just thought I'm being because I'm just not.
No. Trust me, no.
Hearing the way, someone tells you something and the next
strongly.
they tell you. Oh, thank you. So I would love to hear about romance. If maybe you could tell me something about new love, old love, any love that could pop out, I would be happy. Thank you.
Okay, great. So you're April 30th, right? Just to get the right date?
Yes, April 30th.
Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, so love. Let's see what you got for love. Yeah, you've got a lot of Leo in the first house, which rules romance. And right now, this is interesting. You have Vesta at 5 degrees Leo in your first house, right on your south node. So there's some energy coming up around in your first house. So like a woman who maybe being difficult for you? Do you have anybody like that? And it might even be you, since it's Vesta in the first. It could be you. Like you're just
maybe it's me.
Is it you?
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. It is.
Okay.
I don't understand it. Yes. Holy mackerel,
You,
that's not good.
Yeah, you've got a difficult chart right now. I mean, like everything for you is on one of your cusps. So your first house cusp is 29 Cancer. You've got Vesta within 5 of that. Opposite that, you have Venus at 28 Capricorn about to go into your house of marriage and partnership. And so there's definitely a rising feeling of like, I want to be in a partnership. But squaring her is Uranus on your Venus at your Venus is at 15, your Mercury is at 17, and Uranus is at 20. So Uranus is squaring your Venus, or the Venus transit, and on your Venus. So that's not easy. So not only do you have Uranus retrograde on your Venus, but you also have Venus squaring that energy in your chart, and Pluto too. Then you have Jupiter Jupiter's at 17 Libra on your natal Neptune, which is also conjunct your natal Saturn. So you've got this grand cross going on in your chart of opposing energies and squaring energies. So for you, it means that down in the house of home and family, Jupiter is triggering your Neptune saying, yes, partner, partner, partner. It's an ideal situation. I want to make something of it. And Saturn, like in your life, Saturn's on Neptune. It's both the energy of desiring of a relationship, but also the restriction of it. And then they're both retrograde, which means you're going back towards how you looked at it. And actually, because they're on the cusp, well, they're not exact. They're within 8 degrees of the cusp. So, you're going back wanting to have the new relationship. I think you have like this ideal love as part of your life purpose, part of your life story is always looking for the ideal love, but it's in your house of home and family, which means it relates to your parents really strongly. So if you have been, especially when Saturn was going through Libra, which is about 5 years ago, you had this, okay, now pay attention to what it is you truly want, who you are, how you relate to your parents, and all their energy. Like what images did you take of your parents growing up that came out in your life? Because those are the lessons of this life. Saturn in the house of home and family is about mom, but Saturn represents dad. So it's the dynamic of mom and dad in your chart really strongly. Like that's part of your life purpose, is to understand how you processed the dynamic with their relationship and how you bring it into your relationships. That's like truly a huge life purpose for you. Yeah.
Wow.
And then on top of it, you have Venus, which rules love, in Aries at the midheaven, which is your dad, and Venus, so there's like, and she's retrograde in your chart. So she's going, I want to express myself in a more masculine way. I want to be very forthright with the people I'm in love with, or about my love. I want to just give it out to the world. It's midheaven. You're having the light shine on you. It's like, I've got a lot of love to give, and I give it like a child gives, just unconditional. I'm out there. Like, what's your deal? Let's just do it. And I got chills all over right now as I'm telling you this. Seriously, I've got them on my arms and my legs, which is a really big thing.
Wow.
So Uranus transited over your Venus, and he went retrograde this year. He only has one retrograde left in 2017 before he goes into Taurus. That's going to be really big for you as well, because it will hit your Sun, Jupiter, and Mars all up in your house of career in the sign of love. Everything in your chart's telling me that you are at a point, a crossroads of not, pardon my language, but having to give a shit about the other right now, and you're really wanting to do you. But in doing you're finding who you are, and you're going to culminate something out of acknowledging your needs, acknowledging your drive and who you are as a person, and you're really going through this personal renovation and shift and renaissance that in the next decade is going to completely come out, and you're going to be like, I wouldn't be surprised if you're in the spotlight. I mean, I don't know if you are now, but my goodness, Uranus at your midheaven, and it's been there for a couple of years actually. You've got a lot of, are you on the radio?
I'm not. No.
Or podcast?
I was at one time for years, but not. I haven't done that since. Oh my God, in 7 or 8, maybe 10 years already, I guess. a girlfriend from that I grew up with, and she happened to have a near death and became psychic, and I was on her show, and she did really well when I was on it. I know it. I mean, people were calling,
as a part.
Yeah, as her part, and she was making, and I just did it as a friend, not expecting any gratuity, and she ended up doing well, and I was happy for her. That's what it's all about.
Wow.
So I love that you shared that, because she always thought it's her. She's very self-absorbed. She says she's a walk-in. But whatever she is, she's not my friend anymore, so that's okay.
Aww,
and
that's
I learned so much from you today. Shelley, the fact that you taught me about my parents was like, OMG. That doesn't get more power. It was. It's
well,
like you gave me such a lift.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, so there are a lot of points that I look at in a chart, and definitely everybody, it's about your parents. Like when it comes to love, it's about the parents and how we were raised from little kids for this dynamic with people, and it's comfortable to us. It's what we're familiar with, and it's so subtle we don't even recognize that we're real, that we're going to express that in our adult lives, because that's how we see love. That's why children who are abused end up abusing, because that's how they express love. That's what they were taught. And we take it in and we use that in our relationships. And,
exactly.
Really, I've been in marital counseling. I've been in relationships counseling, for probably, I would say, 3 or 4 years in my life. And it really comes down to this. I look at astrology, I'm like, oh my goodness, the 7th and 8th house is your mother and your father. The house of home and family is mom, around the family and what you see as a family life. Your career life is Saturn, which is your dad. And, and then the dynamic of relationships and marriage and partnership and how you get along with money and everything else is, the 7th is marriage, the 8th is money and possessions and how you deal with legal issues and the tangible commitment issues from the marriage. And it's all right there in your chart. You've got it. And for you, you've got Mars in your house of marriage right now in Aquarius, which reiterates that you're trying to find who you are as a person in a relationship. Right. And you've got Aquarian energy, which is you actually would do better probably with multiple partners. And even I would say if I'd never known you and you were real young, I'd say, well, you're probably going to have multiple marriages in your life, because Aquarius and Pisces in those houses usually bring multiple.
I've had
two. Have you?
Exactly.
Yeah. And
yes, I have.
Aquarius,
and it's funny because I like multiple relationships. You're right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And right now you have Uranus on your Venus, so it's saying, you've got more than one person you could be out there with. And naturally, again, with Neptune, Saturn, and Libra, it's having the balance. It's always like there's got to be a third energy, a person or an entity. It could be a business, or it could be another person. It could be a child. There's always a third that balances out the relationship for you. It's like you need that. And if you could put it into a business instead of a person, then that would be a stronger relationship for you.
I love that. You are so Shelley, you are so
You're too cute.
Profoundly accurate. I love your experience, and you share such good stuff. Thank you, girl.
You're welcome. Well, I can tell you more. I've got half an hour. I've got one other person in the queue, and I will get to you. So if you're listening, 407, I'll get to you. But I don't want to end the show early, and right now I only have 2 in the queue, so I would love to give you more reading.
I am so happy. I am all ears. I don't want to be selfish.
No.
Shelley,
I will give the other caller. I'm only giving you about 5 or 6 minutes. I'll give them probably 15 unless another call comes in, and I'll give you another 10. So it's fine.
You.
You're lucky. Lucky today.
Oh, am I lucky? Because you are on fire with me. But you always are. But today, with your goosebumps, I get it. You feel it. You're just,
I do. Yeah.
Intuitiveness too. So together, you're just wow. It's power. Your chart's good.
Yeah, really.
Tell me
I like talking to people because it brings it to life. I talk, the opening monologue is like I can give you information, but when I do the reading, it does come alive for me, and I love interacting with people, and I love talking to people. And so, it's just like now I can get the details of what's going on in your chart, and it's not just a theory. It's actual, this is this person, this is coming into your life, and then there's the interaction between what's going on and what's in your chart. So it becomes much more clear when I talk to the person. Yeah. So what would you like to know?
Let me ask you. I really love my home. I'm wondering if financially, how long you see me living in it. I mean, I cruise fine now. I don't know if it's to my advantage to maybe lease it or just stay. That's my concern. I go back and forth.
I know you do because you got Libra. Libra is about, should I stay or should I go? Let me see. Jupiter. You're going to have one more back and forth next year of Jupiter, and then you will move, but it's for you. Your chart is usually when you move because of a relationship, because Jupiter goes into Scorpio in October of next year, and then that will be about the commitment. And then by the time Jupiter gets out of that house, it'll be one more year before Jupiter leaves your house of home and family. And let me real quick look and see what timeline, if Jupiter even gets out of home and family, because that could actually also trigger a move. I would say if you do move in the next year, you're going to move again not long after that when Jupiter exits your house of home and family and goes into Sagittarius, which is only going to get really strong for you to want to move and travel. So Jupiter is within 3 degrees of going into your house of home and family, which will trigger a desire to move. That's what it does. And then when it leaves, it wraps up the story of home and family, and then you want to go on the other end as well. So, that can be like a year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on how long Jupiter takes to go through that sign. So let's see. Jupiter retrogrades goes back 15, 13. I think it goes to 13, and then he goes forward. So 13, so he'll just get out of your house of home and family. So if you do decide to move, I personally would say next year would be a good time to sell a house, but maybe not buy another one until after Jupiter gets into Sagittarius. And Saturn is heading towards Capricorn, which is going to shift the dynamic. Saturn in 2018, January 2018, Saturn goes into Capricorn, thank you, which means that it's going to kind of dry up the housing market a little bit, and it'll be a little bit cold, which means house prices will probably go down, because it's also the point Pluto was at when we had the housing crash in 2007. Then Saturn goes in and says, okay, Pluto went in and said, hey, this is going on. Look at this. It's going on. There's got to be a change happening. And then Saturn comes along and says, oh, that happened. Now we got to clean it up. We got to organize. We got to redo the systems. The government's got to change. And then it's also the cold energy, so it withdraws. It comes in to renovate. And so right now we're in a strong fire energy with Sagittarius again. So we're reliving a lot of the what is that term? The gravy years, for lack of a better term, time just before the balloon time. We're reliving it because there's this energy of like, oh wow, let's make something tangible, which is Saturn in Sagittarius, which is real estate. So real estate's getting back up there again, but then Saturn's going to hit Capricorn and be like, oh wow, burn my fingers. You're going to burn your fingers if you don't do something before then. I mean, I think that whatever property you have, now is the time to sell, because when Saturn goes into Capricorn, it's going to withdraw again. It's going to, I think that the market's going to get cold again.
Was that?
Pardon me?
That was in a year and a half. You said
January 2018. Yeah, January 2018. So right now we're in the fire time.
Like right now? Are you
within the next year. Like I said, when Jupiter gets to Sagittarius, that will be October. So what happens is, it's going to be a really interesting dynamic. Saturn, well, first off, let me see. Saturn, in January 2018, Saturn goes into Capricorn. So for the last part of next year, Saturn will be at late degrees Sagittarius. So it's wrapping up a Sagittarius story about structure and ownership of the behavior of Sagittarius, which is taking care of self. It's not worrying about consequences. It doesn't do the details. It squares Virgo energy. It's more about taking action, self-interested action. Okay, when when Jupiter gets into Scorpio, let me see, when is that? That's what I really meant. It's Jupiter in Scorpio. It's about commitment, and then actually it's going to be 20. Let me slow down because I'm getting some of my transits a little bit crossed here, and I want to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. So because Jupiter's going into Scorpio, then he'll go into Sagittarius. And when Jupiter goes into Sagittarius, that actually may be the best time to sell, but it's still a couple years away, because Jupiter in Sagittarius happens in 2018, late 2018, because what happens then is Jupiter is going to be in Sagittarius, which is real estate. It's going to expand and want us to move forward and have fire energy, it happens in November of 2018. In January of 2018, Saturn is in Capricorn. So what's happening is there's going to be a realignment with the housing market. Saturn's going to say, you are way too frivolous, now you need to pay the piper. So I think a lot of the people who got off, corporate people who got off with Pluto going into Capricorn in 2008, they're going to have to pay the piper. But then Jupiter's going to go into Sagittarius, and Jupiter and Sag in September, and then Saturn will be in Capricorn, which is like a realignment and a new structure, and then that's going to be actually more beneficial to the housing market because Jupiter will be in its own sign and be more optimistic. So I would say the early part of 2018 is going to be like, wait, what? And then the latter part of 2018, everything's going to start to realign, and it will be much better, because Jupiter is going to expand. It's going to want us to be back in real estate. They're going to put out things that will help us do that, but in a responsible way. So it's going to be much more tangible, down-to-earth real estate that's actually going to make you money in investments down the road. So that's 2018.
That's huge.
Wait that long. It's pretty big.
Sure I could. I really could, because I could always lease it if I chose to want to be with someone or travel or be away. But I don't think I would. I probably would just stay here because I'm so possessive. It's like, oh, my God, I can't trust someone in my house.
Well, definitely Jupiter is wanting you. It's in the House of Home and Family now, and it's wanting you to look at how you need to get your needs and desires met, and that is in relationship. But next year, 2017 is going to be a little back and forth again. So you're going to be like, oh, I don't know what to do. So I think you're going to start to talk to somebody. I think by the time Saturn goes direct, which let me see when he's retrograde next year, when he goes direct for you, so that we can get that on board. It will actually be in the middle of the year. It goes direct. Come on. I'm almost there. 22, 21. Okay, in August, which is late summer. But August 26th, Jupiter goes direct, and so that will be the last time, and then between August and the end of the year, he races towards Scorpio. He'll be in Scorpio, and that's commitment. It'll be commitment in your home and family life. I think there's, interestingly, because you have an ending right in the middle of your House of Home and Family, it's not only on the cusp, but it's also in the middle, that you're going to have a transition in late, probably by October of next year, there's going to be a transition around the home. So there could be something coming up around commitment, and that might be something for you where the person comes in, and having Jupiter going through House of Home and Family can bring in a love interest. Mars going into the 8th house is also a love commitment. That's in Pisces, and that will be really beneficial because, and I'm guessing that's probably when you had relationships in the past as well. You have Neptune in the House of Commitment right now, and then you'll have Mars going in the House of Commitment. So Neptune is ideal partner and commitment. Mars is taking the action toward it. I just got chills. Jupiter is also on your Neptune-Saturn, which is in partnership. So you've got all the good stuff moving around for you. Yeah, it's all coming in next year. Yeah, and then and then you've got Uranus. Uranus is going to be going into Taurus, and then it'll hit your Sun, your Jupiter, and Mars. And that also represents love, interest in the house of career or whatever your life purpose tends to be, or someone who will actually, I would think, be more like a father figure to you, or maybe somebody who's a little bit older. And that's also what the Neptune-Saturn energy is. Neptune is the past. Saturn is the father figure. And so everything in your chart's telling me that you would do well with an older gentleman as far as love.
Oh,
and
wow.
That might,
I'm so
excited. You're probably attracted to that because of your father figure. Do you? And he's older?
Yeah, and I've never had before someone that's 8 years older than me. That's a lot of years, I think.
That's
especially
something that will be
stage.
coming in in the next month, if you're not already dating him, I think in the next month, you've also got Saturn Sun conjunct today, and for the next 4 days, you're going to have that conjunction approaching in the house of romance. And so it's creative, and it's travel and adventure and fun and play. So there's a lot of that good energy. I mean, you really have a good chart coming up for the next year. There's going to be glitches with retrogrades, but for the most part, you're really honing in on what it is you want, and you're going to expand all your creative, fun play time. And there will be somebody there that's going to be coming in. I got chills with that. So, yeah, lots of stuff going on for you.
Elliot, I walk in on clouds. You know, if you get benefit from how happy you make your people, you just should only come back to you tenfold. Love you so much. So let me ask you real quick. Are you on Facebook? Are you a friend on Facebook?
I'm off it now. I had a stalker. It was a problem.
Oh, no.
So I'm off.
Oh,
it's all good.
I was going to say,
they
definitely
ended up going to jail.
Oh, my goodness. Well, good. Oh, my gosh. That's a really intense stalker. Contact me
because
somehow.
I wasn't the only one, though. I wasn't the
really?
only one. Someone else put them in
jail.
Oh,
gosh.
Yeah, thank God.
Wow. Well, if you are interested in maybe doing a show with me once a month, that would be really fun. I would love to have you on and we could talk and stuff because it sounds like, well, I'm kind of looking to freshen the show and bring in something new because I think it's at a funky time and I just need to get more attention for the show. But I'm also, I'm doing it alone. It's kind of like, I feel like sometimes I go over and over the same stuff. So if you were interested, we could talk, but definitely shoot me an email and we'll talk, okay?
You know what? I'm going to do that. You know what? My other comment was that I thought I missed I don't know why you went to self-help versus spirituality for the category, because I think more people find you.
Oh, interesting. Well, I wasn't sure because I know that, I did go to self-help to test it out to see if I got more listeners, and I wasn't sure. So I can definitely change it back, and that's not a problem. I'd love to do that. If you think that's a good idea, I'll give it back to spirituality and give it some time there and see if more people find me there too. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, doll. I'm going to email you. You're so cool.
Okay, yeah, please
I love
do.
you, Shell. I'm going to.
Okay, great.
Bye,
thanks, Diane. Take care. Bye-bye.
Sure, bye.
Okay, so hi 407. I'm sorry you had to wait this long, but how are you and what can I do for you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Let's see, have you called the show before, Jennifer?
Yes, I have.
Okay, great. All right, what can I do for you?
Just wanted to see what you had coming up for me or what's going on with this craziness.
Okay. Hang on one second. I just had to stop the background noise there for a second. Okay. Oh, my gosh, you got a ton of stuff in your first house now and a lot of stuff in your third. Now, you do some astrology too, don't you?
I've been studying it. I haven't really done readings or anything like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, for the course of the rest of the year, you've got all the Sagittarius Capricorn energy in your first house. So, of course, renovation of who you are and what you think and how you are and how you think. And so, like I said to Diane, you've got about 4 days of Saturn and Sun conjunct. And then you're going to probably feel a little bit like, I don't need to answer to anybody. I'm going to do my own thing, which right now Sun is approaching Saturn. So that means that you're starting to feel restricted and that you have to follow a certain path, or maybe you're thinking of going back to school or doing something in an educational venue or spiritual expansion. Wherever you're learning and growth, you're feeling that drive to do something more tangible with it. And it could even mean you want to take a trip. It's whatever you're doing to take action and make it manifest, something that's Sagittarian. After about 4 days, so like the 10th, Sun goes past Saturn, and then there's no restriction. It's like, I don't have to listen to whatever is holding me back now. I'm just going to do it, and too bad for you, until Sun gets to Capricorn on, I think it's like the 22nd of the month. So you're going to have a period of time where you could really go and just do what you want to do. Like, if you feel like going somewhere and doing it, just do it. So that's coming up. And then Mercury right now is in Capricorn. He does go retrograde. Let's see, that retrograde's the last part. The 19th, Mercury goes retrograde in Capricorn. So right now, whatever you're experiencing right now, you're going to start to feel it. Hang on, I think it goes to 13 degrees. It goes retrograde back to 13, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check real quick here.
Direct. No, he goes direct at 28 Sagittarius, so he goes way back. So there's definitely some strong energy around how you feel about education, spirituality, growth, and change around maybe even religion. Like if you're thinking of changing churches or the kind of religion you practice, that's also part of this energy. It's really a renovation of your personality and how you see yourself. And it's kind of ongoing. It's been ongoing since Pluto's been at 13 degrees Sagittarius, which is probably around 2000. It's a long process. You're almost at the end. Pluto is at close to 23, within 7 degrees, so it's probably about 2.5 years away. And then you're going to feel a tremendous shift. But, because Pluto is such a slow-moving planet, it does take its time going through that last little bit of your house of self. So you are really approaching the last couple of years of that renovation. And all of these planets through your first house are just kicking up different little nuances and degrees of how you have to shift. So is that something that you've been feeling?
Yes, very much so, actually. Kind of wondering, my daughter's in school now. I'm trying to figure out kind of like what I wanted to do as a career.
Right.
So.
Well, I can tell you about career. Career is Saturn, and it's also your Capricorn house, which is your first house. So definitely you have to do something that connects to your first house and your sense of self. And for you, the Capricorn part of that, and that's also true for the money. Capricorn and Aquarius is money, but Capricorn is the elderly or traditional systems, which is office work or corporate America or government work. It could be like the Postal Service or anything along those lines. You have Saturn at, where is it? I can't even see it. Is your Saturn hiding? There it is. It's in Taurus. So the money house does very strongly relate to you, but Saturn in the 5th house means you need to get recognition and you need to have some connection to children or creativity or the child inside of you. And it has to do with money as well. It's retrograding, which means you're going back towards children. Do you do something with children at all?
I do not, no. I volunteer at school a lot.
Do you have any interest in like art or any type of craft?
Yes, I just haven't I haven't really done anything with that, but yeah, I do like to do that when I do it.
Well, Saturn in the 5th tells me that you could really make some money out of the crafting area, jewelry making. The things that are always associated with Leo in that area are glass, craft, jewelry, and scrapbooking, those 3 things. Right now also, candles is pretty hot because of the fire connection. So if you have any interest in, I know it seems kind of like, well, I don't know if that's a career, but if you started doing something, it could actually blossom. So hang on one second. I've got a little tickle. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to take a cough drop here. Excuse me. And I'm going to give this to you because this is also part of a reading when I do readings. If I have something come up like that really strongly, I'm going to give it to you because it's Taurus, which rules the throat. And it has this really strong connection to the throat right now. So have you had any difficulty with your throat or breathing or talking or, getting a point across?
No, not really. I had a cold.
Okay. So this probably relates to getting a point of view out and telling your story because Saturn, this is the Leo house. So Leo is about storytelling. It can be about children. How accurate is your birth time? Because it's so close to the cusp. If it's not an accurate birth time, it might actually make a difference going into the healing house. So I just was curious.
According to my mother, it's the right time.
It's the right time?
Yeah, 10:42 a.m.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I definitely think that there's a really strong connection here to expressing yourself. That's really part of what you need to be doing. So if there's anything that you as a child felt like, man, when I did that, I can tell you just an example for me. When I went into art stores, it was like somebody just shot me with adrenaline. I was like, wow, this is so cool. Look at all the colors and all the ways that I could possibly create art. I'm in heaven. Another thing was photography. Whenever I picked up a camera and took photos, I just felt like I was in my element. So if there was something in your childhood that you felt like, wow, like also another one, I'm just giving you examples from my life so you can kind of understand the feeling. Like when I sent away for a little disc to do hypnosis, I just thought that was the coolest thing. It was like magic happened. Magic was real, So if you ever had that magical feeling growing up of something, like do you remember anything that just made you feel like, in Taurus it's money, it can be money, beauty, aesthetics, cosmetology, anything that relates to Venus and attraction and love and beauty and feminine energy, money, possessions, those are all valid things as well. And I would definitely encourage you towards the art or hairstylist. Okay.
Yeah,
is that what you've done in the past, or is that where you were interested?
I was hairstylist for about 15 years, had my own salon and all that kind of thing.
Nice.
And then I had my daughter, so I stayed home with her. Now she's in school, and I don't really want to go back and do hair because I have to kind of reinvent myself with a clientele, and I kind of worked for myself before. So just trying to think of, just something else that I can do that I like to do because I love doing that. So just kind of in a little standstill, kind of trying to figure it out.
Have you? I want to say that there's also a possibility of maybe doing something in two different arenas. One, either with the elderly, like maybe seeing if there's a nursing home that you might be able to go into and do hair for the elderly once a week or something like that. That could be a foot in the door.
Right.
And then the other side is, for you, money, you can get it through internet endeavors, doing something online. So if there's something that you want to sell, I can tell you could also probably do really well selling products, because Taurus is the second house from the first. The first is Aries. Aries is a salesperson. The next house is money from sales. So Taurus would be a good energy for sales as well. And I'm just looking at it in that fifth house. It's children. So your money house is the elderly. Your Saturn house, which is life purpose, is children. And let me see. You got Mars. You have a drive to do something with other people and education. Pluto is in Virgo in your house of education. Pluto, Mars, and Uranus are all up in your education house. So that's autonomy and independence. But there's also a connectedness to a partner. So all this Jupiter energy is really asking you to, Jupiter in Libra rules your house of career. So there's also a possibility, you've got 3 planets in Libra. You really do better in career when there's somebody to bounce something off of. In a partnership situation. You do better when there's someone to bounce your ideas off of and to connect to, and they focus you. Partners.
That's true.
Although right now, and the other thing is you have Uranus in the house of home and family, so there may be somebody coming up, like I said, after Uranus goes direct at the end of the month, there may be an opportunity for you, for a family member who wants to get in on a business with you.
Okay.
So have you considered that?
No, actually no. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, you also have Neptune in the third house, which is siblings, and that's making dreams come true right now. Neptune, wherever Neptune is, and you have a Neptune at 29 Scorpio in your chart in the 12th house, and you have Venus in Scorpio. Venus is sisters or females, so it could be mom, sister, daughter. So I would look, do you have a sister?
Yes, I have 2.
Well, you might bring up something to one of them, and you might actually just be in a good time. They'd be saying, well, I was trying to figure out what to do, but that would be really awesome if we did X together. So I've got chills on that, so you might want to look into it. And then also about a month away when Venus gets into Pisces, well, definitely Venus in Aquarius is going to bring out your soul group. That's what it rules. Aquarius is a soul group and the way you can make money with other people. When Venus gets to Pisces, then you're going to be in a really lovely time of expansion around the money with a sibling, if you want to, and a female, because it's Pisces, feminine energy. So I would recommend that to you.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it'll be in January. January's going to be big. Just, look to January. A really great time to springboard a new opportunity, okay?
Okay. You even like to take an educational, like a class online or something?
Yeah, absolutely. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, Mars in Aquarius loves to do online anything. Okay.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
For the
I
call.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you for sticking with me. Okay, take care.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that's the end of the show, and we'll see you next week. In these days of stress, running around, responsibilities, we all need a little place to go to make it all better. Is that place sports, football, or maybe you like to garden, paint, or just listen to music? Wherever your happy place is, you can find a shirt or mug to reflect that happy place. At myhappyplace.rocks, we have a variety of lifestyle products, including iPhone cases, pajamas, and pet items, all with beautiful, colorful designs, which help us go to our happy place. Stop by on the web for great gift ideas for others and yourself. myhappyplace.rocks. Lenny Pickett appears courtesy of Random Act Records. Check them out at randomactrecords.com.